in order to change that law. But in the meantime, there is an important and free service that we wanted to make sure Cape Coral was aware of, because it's absolutely free. You all may have heard the private entities like Home Lock, Title Lock, Deed Lock. There's a whole bunch of them out there in the private market, and they charge a premium for a service that your taxpayer dollars have already paid for. It's called Property Fraud Alert. And it's a free system that gives people the peace and comfort of being notified when a document with their registered name has been filed with the clerk's office. And it does that within 24 hours. In my time as clerk and comptroller, I've realized that some people aren't getting notified that they were a victim of this crime, and so they don't receive their property tax bill or their truth and millage notice from the property appraiser. So if you were a victim of this crime in January and you weren't aware of it, and you weren't getting notified until August or November, it's going to be very difficult for your colleagues at the Cape Coral Police Department or the Sheriff's Office to do a thorough investigation. So Property Fraud Alert is something that our taxpayer dollars have already paid for, and it's absolutely free. There are some QR codes for your community. On the left side is anything related to Lee County. So if you live anywhere in the 890 square miles of our beautiful county, you will get an alert within 24 hours if a document was filed in your name. The next big benefit is that all Florida clerks of court and comptrollers have this same property. So if you have something just north or south of us, or maybe in Hendry and Glades, or maybe across the entire state of Florida, this free service is out there for our community, and it puts them on notice to get law enforcement on the hook faster and investigate these crimes, hopefully hold these individuals accountable for creating this fraud. Because I tell my community all the time that we spend a lot of time in our homes, we spend a lot of money, certainly. We have a lot of memories, and one piece of paper that costs $10 to file should not bring that all down to a crumble. So if someone in your community wants to do that private market, they want to pay at a premium for Home Lock and Title Lock, that is certainly their choice. But I wanted to make sure that they have a free option available to them, and to know that this is literally my constitutional job, is to let them know that there are ways to protect your property. So it's very, very simple to register. If you will quickly indulge me, it's 4 fields. It's your first name, your last name, and your email address twice, just to make sure that you didn't fat finger the email. And that's basically it. The only other step to get registered is to confirm your email address, just to make sure that if you get the notice, you actually know that you typed in your email address correctly. And then there's really nothing to do. Once you get the email, it may not be a bad thing. You may have a refinance for your mortgage or a notice of commencement for some property renovations. That might not be a concern for you. But if you get an email and you determine that that was not your transaction and you were not prepared for it, please call someone at the Cape Coral Police Department, specifically if you have property in Cape Coral. They have a department that will look into this and determine whether they can help you. So with that said, I usually talk about this for like 45 minutes, but council members, I know you have a very busy agenda. If you had any questions for me, I would make myself available. But in the meantime, I really appreciate your help and support on advertising this critical and free service to our community.
Thank you very much. We appreciate the presentation, and maybe Mr. City Manager, maybe something we can get out with communications that help disseminate this information out to the community. To protect them. I think maybe that's something that we could try to do if possible. Councilmember Kilrain?
Yeah, Kevin, I'd just like to thank you for bringing this forward. You're always enthusiastic about things, but you're really revved up about this one, and it's very valuable. So appreciate it very much, and we'll certainly take advantage of it and spread it around. So thank you. Thank you for your efforts.
I appreciate it.
Councilmember Donnell?
Ms. Carter, I had to fact check you out because you're kind of one of them slick talkers, but I just want to let you all know that it actually happened. I did the QR code. I registered my property just like that. So thank you for all you're doing. I was just kidding. I know him. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Donnell. I was wondering how many people were like, why is the county comptroller in a city government meeting? So I appreciate that.
Thank you, sir. That's all.
Well, thank you for coming, and we'll try to help you in your endeavors and get this information out to the community to better protect them. So
appreciate it very much. Have a good meeting.
Thank you. Okay, let's move on to item 2 under new business. We have the Youth Council quarterly report. So I will invite them up to the podium.
Hold on, I'm pulling up our presentation now. Okay, there we go. Hello, everyone. My name is Lexi Skorzak. I'm chair of this amazing Cape Coral Youth Council. Thank you so much for having us, and we are going to present to you our next quarterly report. So for starters, I would like to introduce all of our members. So once again, I'm Chair Skorzak. We also have with us today.
I'm member Emily Salazar from Oasis High School.
I'm member Isabella Paragonda from Bishop Vero High School.
We also have member Grace Riley, member Sabrina Monso Perez, member Genesis Zapata Vasquez, member Ava Halsey, member Emily Fleichthaler, and member Claire Johnson. Also with us is our juniors, and with us today we have.
Hi, I'm Vice Chair Emma Brown from Oasis High School.
Hello, my name is Berenice Sanchez, and I'm from Norfolk Myers High School.
And then also in our council is member Jennifer Toro, member Camila Vargas, member Manga Jax, and member Ali Weiss. And then our lovely communication director is Ambrielle Kalexty. As you saw, all of the Cape Coral schools plus Bishop Vero are represented in our council. It's something we're very proud of. We're able to reach all the high schools in our area. And yeah, it's something we're excited to continue hopefully in the next term. So in this presentation, we're hoping to give you updates on all the projects we introduced you the first time. So for starters, our senior project. So again, this year we're doing a mental health survey, and it will be sent to the 6 local high schools: Oasis, Cape Coral, Ida Baker, Island Coast, Mariner, North Fort Myers. It was already sent out to Oasis the 1st of this month, and we have been collecting surveys until, I believe, December 21st. So we should be giving back that data very soon. This survey will be a mental health survey focused on the purpose of educating and raising awareness for mental health in students of Cape Coral. And then the data we collected will be presented to the Cape Coral City Council, the Oasis School Board, and the Lee County School Board. We hope to inspire our city and school leaders to prioritize students' mental health. Now for our update on our junior project. So we will hopefully, and we're very close to getting this fully approved, doing a movie in the park for Valentine's Day. Teens and children will come to we're hopefully doing it at Cultural Park. We're getting that finally approved, so I don't want to confirm anything yet. But they will come and we will be playing a movie, and we'll have food trucks and all sorts of things like that to create better entertainment for our city. And then we will also be hosting a booth at the city's Movie in the Park for Christmas, and there we'll be collecting more toys for our toy drive that we're doing that we'll talk about later. The funds for this project will be helping us to continue raise money for DC. And yes, so once again, this is not fully confirmed, but we're really close, and we're hoping that come February, we will have this event done. And then next project we like to talk about is Hope for the Holidays. So this project is done in collaboration with Children's Network. And we currently have donation bins here downstairs and in the William B. Austin Youth Center. We are collecting for ages 5 to 12. So if you guys would like to donate in toys, we would very much appreciate it. And then we're collecting them through December 20th.
And then recently we visited Cape Coral High School in our school reach out program. Our senior project last year allowed our Cape Coral Youth Council and City Council to engage with the youth in our community by visiting all of the Cape Coral high schools. This project gave us the opportunity to communicate more information about the City Council, the Youth Council, and even go beyond and hear the concerns of the youth in our community. And they were able to do presentations at Island Coast High School, North Fort Myers, Ida Baker, and Oasis. And then this year, we're hoping to visit the remainder of the schools. So far, we've been able to visit Cape High, and we're going to go back again come January, I believe. And our last school that we have not gotten to yet is Mariner, but we hope to do that soon. The Youth Council hosted a meet and greet night a few weeks ago. It was a very successful night. Our fundraiser is going towards our DC trip come March, I believe. And our fundraiser was held on September 18th from 5:30 p.m. to 7:30. The event took place at Nice Guys Pizza in Cape Coral, where the owner graciously donated all of the pizza for free. The Youth Council held the meet and greet to connect with people in our community and share what our group is all about. The event allowed us to introduce our ongoing and future projects, sharing our goals and community initiatives with attendees. Through donations and community support, we successfully raised funds for the Youth Council's trip to Washington, D.C. for the NLC Congressional City Conference. And I know some of you were in attendance as well, so thank you so much for coming. We also have our Adopt a Road, which is a bi-monthly cleanup on the medians and shoulders of Santa Barbara, spanning from the intersection of Pine Island to Tropicana. This is a permanent project the council requires participation for members in the Youth Council and Keep the County Beautiful partner, so our council does not have to purchase supplies to conduct the cleanups. On September 30th, the Youth Council attended an Adopt a Road ribbon cutting ceremony to celebrate and recognize our ongoing involvement in keeping the community's roadway clean and maintained.
Thank you. So it is with great excitement that we have an update on the Lovelock statue. For those of you that don't know, Lovelocks is a project that entails building a metal structure in the shape of two hearts where residents will be able to attach locks similar to those that we've seen in Europe. Our administrative staff is working hand in hand with the Parks and Recreation Department and the City Manager's Office to collaborate on this project. At this time, we would like to give a big shout out to Ryan Coburn, the owner and operator of Tip Top Welding LLC, which is right here in Cape Coral. They will be donating all the materials and labor needed to put this structure up for the Youth Council at Cultural Park. And we would also like to extend a very big thank you to the city manager for donating the concrete slab that is needed to get this done. Of course, this has to be voted on by the city, but we really hope that this gets approved. We have been working on this for such a long time, and everybody has been putting countless hours into getting this done. So we hope that we can bring this project into fruition. Next was the trunk or treat that was held on October 24th, right here at the city building. Our group decorated our trunk and we dressed up as different characters from Disney Pixar's Inside Out. We hosted a table accepting donations and hosted a mummy wrapping game where participants could win a small toy.
Thank you. And we recently went to our Youth Council Summit. So on the November 8th, we attended the Florida League of Cities Youth Council Summit at Sanborn Activity Center in DeLand, Florida. I personally went with a few of my members, and I'd say it was a very great experience. We learned a lot about leadership, team building. We got to know other youth councils as well. So it was a lot of workshopping. And it gave us a chance to connect with other youth councils across Florida, share ideas, gain inspiration for our own community projects, compare how other youth councils work with ours. And hopefully we can continue this in March to attend the Washington, D.C. one. Our Christmas Village we have a village at the Christmas Village held by our ex-council member, Dan Shepard, at Island Time Village in Bokeelia. And I also was one of the members who helped decorate it. It was me, Chair Lexi Skorzak, Vice Chair Emma Brown, and member Camila Vargas. We have our own cabin and we decorated gingerbread themed for Christmas display with decorations and festival details. We had a little photo booth you could take there too. And it's open to the public during November, featuring Christmas lights, Santa Claus, live animals, and refreshments, creating a fun and family-friendly holiday experience for everyone. I had a lot of fun decorating it. I hope a lot of people went and attended it and saw it because I think our little village came out beautifully. Our next meeting is the 12th at 3 p.m. right here in the chambers. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Councilmember Laster. I know you are our council liaison, so I'll give you the floor first. Are you there, Councilmember Laster? Sounds like not, or she'll be back shortly. But thank you for the update, the quarterly report. Appreciate everything you're doing, and glad to see that one project almost come to fruition that I know you've been working on for a long time. So glad to see that. I'll open up for any council discussion. Councilmember Donnell.
Yeah, I'm the liaison to that, and there are some technical things going on, but I was just so enthusiastic when you guys were talking. I just kind of wanted to join in. I mean, it's just great. It's great to see the young people getting involved and that you all are just giving back to the community. So I look forward to seeing you Friday. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you so
very
much.
That's all.
Mayor, I'm here. I'm sorry, my keyboard was stuck. I want to say thank you to all of you ladies who gave this presentation. I really want to say thank you to Councilmember Steinke for recommending me to take on this group. I was a little nervous, but they're doing phenomenal, and I'm just super proud of them. Everything that they do with such heart and such effort. And the presentation that they gave at Cape Coral High School was amazing. They educated those students about the future of Youth Council and what the goals are, and encouraged particularly the young men to apply next time. So thank you so much, ladies. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Councilwoman. We appreciate you.
Councilmember Steinke.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I just wanted to chime in and let you all know how proud I am of you. I was your liaison prior to Councilmember Donnell and Lastra. And, you know, the greatest thing that I see, and I'm glad you presented tonight and the public got to see it, is the breadth of your involvement in the community. I think it's fantastic that our youth get involved in government, learn more about government, and learn more about our community. And then get actively involved in the community by adding to it and helping keep what we have in great shape. And so this past year we broadened a little bit of horizons for qualifications so we could get all the schools involved and get more of our youth involved. And I just wanted to give a shout out to Lexi and to the members that showed up at the Holiday Festival of Lights on Saturday. They got an opportunity to get in front of all of our citizens out there, thousands of people, to let them know that they are involved and that there is room for more youth to get involved. So when the applications come out for the next year's Youth Council, hopefully we keep spreading that word. And Lexi, great job speaking at the mic last night in front of the thousands of Cape Coral residents that showed up there. So great job. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilmember. I appreciate it.
Councilmember Kilrain.
Yeah, and I say this all the time when I'm at the charter school, but I know our future's in good hands with guys like you coming forward and really taking a role of responsibility. I'd also like to just make a brief thank you to Connie and also to our past advisor, Mr. Hayden out there. Thank you for all you've done in preparation for all these guys in the past year. So thank you so much.
Councilmember Kaduc.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you guys so much for the presentation. You guys make us very proud. What's an update on your fundraising goal and where are you at?
So, okay, so I believe in already raised, it's around, because we have a lot of physical raised and then we also have a lot of like committed donations. So I think the physical raised around 7?
It's 14. We're still at 14.
14,000. And then I know we have committed as well. So our goal was originally 20,000. So our QR code is still open on all of our social media pages. So if people could still donate, that would be amazing. But yeah, so right now, for sure, 14,000. We also have some committed from some other organizations that we're hoping will donate soon because the conference is coming up.
14,000 and your goal is?
20.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We appreciate the update.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day.
You too. Okay, next item on the agenda under new business is item 3, Jaycee Park discussion, and I'll turn it over to City Manager Scarlett.
Thank you, Mayor. We're at a point in the Jaycee Park construction project that I need to understand what council's direction would be to move forward. As you know, when we originally started this project, we entertained a unsolicited P3 that came with it a concessionaire. We spent much time in public meetings. As you know, that concessionaire did not come forward with a capital contribution of $1.375 million to finish out and work on the finishes of the building. Along that way, at the same time, Councilwoman Lehman had asked several times on whether or not to stop the project and stop the bistro. And it was made very clear by council 7-1 vote multiple times, as she will tell you. She was the lone person to continue moving the park forward. And my staff has done that. We also, when we lost the concessionaire, there were questions given to me, and we explained this, I did publicly that at the time, our community needed time to heal and settle from the Jaycee Park issue. And so I said at a point when the building is basically footers and walls in place, there would be a time to come back at a later date and have a discussion on how to proceed. And we're there now. We're at a point now where the stem walls are in. I believe the slab was poured Friday and the vertical walls are going up. Where that leaves us is if you all decide to go out for another P3, all of the park surrounding the building is in place and most of the physical structure of the building is there. It will be very hard for another concessionaire to come in and want to make drastic changes. That was some of the reason for delaying this. I didn't want to put it right back in the public's face. And we also didn't want to have to deal with another drastic change at the park that was unforeseen that we would have to deal with. So we have a couple of options. One of them is basically to suspend all work and essentially take up a discussion on whether or not to have the bistro. Doing that would be, right now is at $405,000. And if we did that, I would have to come back to you all at a later date and figure out what we want to do. So option one, I'm not recommending that. I don't believe it's a viable option. Nobody wants the park open with a half-built building. And if we decide not to move forward at all, that 405 and what we have in the building would be sunk cost. Option two is to move forward completing what is commonly known in the industry as a gray shell. So it gets the structure in place and intact, but it allows somebody or us at a future date to decide what the interior finishes would be. Tile, paint, drop ceiling, exterior colors and finishes, and the FF&E. And then lastly, if we want to run it ourselves and completely do a full build out of a turnkey move-in ready facility, we are looking at $1.4 million. The cost of the full build out is essentially equal to the cost or the revenue that we were going to get from the concessionaire, which was $1.375 million. So when they left, our role was to step in their stead and carry that project through. However, we have a decision to make on how to finish out and how to move forward. Like I said, option one really is to me is not a viable option because it has additional costs that would cause us to have sunk costs, and I don't think that was the intent of the 7-1 vote that happened many times. Option two would be more akin to getting direction from you all to go out for an RFP for another concessionaire where we can seek, again, a capital contribution and also a revenue sharing partnership where we can offset future debt service costs on the park. And then option three is basically finish it and then either put it out to an RFP or finish it and then run it internally. So I would be looking for direction from you all tonight on option 1, 2, or 3. We have called them basically a suspend all bistro work option, which is 1, roof option or gray shell, which is 2, or turnkey finished product, which is option 3. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I will open it up for any council discussion. Councilmember Kilrain?
Yeah, basically, my approach on this is really from a priority standpoint. I'd like to be able to recoup that capital investment on the 3P partner that backed out. And I think that what I would also like to see is the park open sooner than later. So I think that to accelerate both of those options, I think our option two, the gray shell is probably the best, in which we just finish the roof and we do not do the interior. So it's a finished position for that. And I know that in order to do that, we have a work order that has to be put in for an adjustment. I think that we have 216,000 to finish the roof. And then there's another 405 that were involved in elevation increase and other things that took it up to that. And I think you're looking for 667,000 total in that work order to compensate, or is it
647.
647,
Okay,
720.
720.
So I'd be in support of that. And based on that, the whole premise is, number one, it relieves the residents of that extra burden. And hopefully from soliciting a 3P partner, we can bring them in for at least, at minimum, equal to that 1.4 capital contribution. And then ongoing forward with whatever revenue recovery we can get after that, it could help compensate for other things, maybe in maintenance and operation report going forward. I think that by doing that, it provides us that relief for residents. It gets the park open in a facilitated manner. And, you know, we can do it in a common sense approach to the food trucks and other things that might be there, such that it doesn't become just a super commercial thing, but really a good asset to the city, and can be used in a manner that really gives value for all of the city residents all over the place without a lot of distortion to the neighborhood there. So I think that's the approach I would support, and I appreciate you bringing it forward. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Steinke.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I spent 98% of my time with staff this week on this issue, so that I fully understood it and could ask all the questions that I felt I needed to have answers to make a knowledgeable decision on how I would vote, how I felt about this. And I too support the option to put the roof on the building and complete the gray shell. The roof protects the investment that we have in it already. It also, if you will, seals the deal on what the building looks like, so that when we do go out for RFP, they aren't asking for some wacky type of roof structure or some a type of what in the building industry is called elevation that would not match the motif that we've already got developed there in the park, and that we're making somewhat consistent across the city. But by not doing the full build out, it allows those potential P3 candidates to have some say, if you will, in the types of furnishings, the types of accessories that they put, the types of decorations they have in the building. So I think it's the best of all worlds for us from the standpoint of making sure that we have some control of the direction of that asset, but then giving the potential bidders, if you will, some flexibility to do things the way that they think would be most successful for them to engage with the city. And through that process, they would be more apt to provide capital funding, as we basically our previous P3 welched on, if you will, and that capital contribution would pay us back for these dollars as they would engage with us. So I too will be in support of whatever number we happen to call that, but it would be the $648,000 to get us gray shell and roof over. Thank you.
Councilmember Lehman.
Yeah. Mr. City Manager, I think the thing I have a big problem with is how can you design a building without a roof? I mean, it seems to me the roof should have been part of the initial design. And now we're talking about 216,000 just for the roof to bring, to then complete the building to the tune of 648,000. Something's lacking here. There's something missing here. It seems to me that, you know, and now we're talking about 216,000 just for the roof to bring, to then complete the building to the tune of 648,000. Something's lacking here. There's something missing here. It seems to me that, you know, and now we're talking about 216,000 just for the roof to bring, to then complete the building to the tune of 648,000. Something's lacking here. It seems to me that the gray shell and the roof would have been part of the original setup and the original design that was done. Now, was this all going to be completed by the original P3 that then, well, as Councilman Stanky put, welched on the deal? Can you shed some light on this?
Sure. So what was in a GMP was basically a lean-to roof. I don't know if you recall seeing pictures of that, and it was a shingle roof. That when you do that, you put in an allowance. And so the concessionaire had 1.375 million. They were running with the design for the building. The park is a separate design. The park is, as you saw, is moving along and being completed. When the Reef concessionaire left, our job was to step in their shoes based on council direction. We had to step in and complete that design. That shingle roof and that lean-to is not what is.
It's not a logical thing.
Right. So it ended up becoming an A-frame roof over a building. They're two different structures, just so you know.
Okay.
It's not a, if you saw the design or understood what it is, it's basically a building with a structure over it. So it's not
I've
like
seen the pictures
somebody
of it.
designed a building without a roof.
Okay, and then a quick question. If we do decide to go out for another P3, is that going to cause a time delay with the opening of Jaycee Park, which is slated for April of 26? Is that going to cause a time delay?
So what we would be looking at is the park is still on schedule. It depends on how fast what they want to do with that interior design and those finishes. If they want to ship marble from Italy and pay for it, it could be more time. But I don't know if that's going. We would have to put it out and see.
We're not planning on opening the park without that building being completed, are we?
Why not?
Are we planning on? No. That's why we're at a point right now where I need direction on which way to go. By putting this out, if we get somebody in and we're able to get to a deal quickly, they will then take our position, which was taking Reef's position. They will take that back and they will work with the team on the finishes.
And how long, all right, with the RFP, you're saying put it out to get a P3, put it out for 30 days, 60 days? How long?
If you all give us that direction to go outside, we would likely have it released next week.
Probably 30 days.
No, but when would it be released?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. We already have. We have
P3s
solicitation.
that have already come forward.
I don't want to confuse P3 with the unsolicited P3. This would be a RFP. This would be a solicited request for proposal for a concessionaire.
All right.
Two totally different things.
All right. Have we gotten any unsolicited potential P3s as yet? Or are we starting from square one?
I have not. We have nothing on the street for this. And as
Okay.
far as unsolicited P3s, none have been received in the office. We have gotten interest from restaurateurs who have an interest in doing it, but they would respond to an RFP.
Out of curiosity, is one of them the Kearns Group that now has decided to come in and now follow through the way they should have before?
I'm not at liberty to speak about who has expressed interest. Because if they don't submit, I don't want to jeopardize any.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Sure. I guess I'll jump in here real quick. Just a couple questions. Could we bring slide 5 up under the presentation there? It shows the picture. And the reason that I asked this, I know I had a discussion with the city manager in my weekly meetings as well. My understanding, but you articulated it a little differently in your presentation, your verbal presentation here today. You had mentioned as far as the interior modifications would be done at a later time under option 2. That's an option that I was going to support. But you also had mentioned that the exterior finishes and colors would be a part of any further or future RFP that was brought in. It was my understanding that we were going to finish the building on the exterior, and we.
I misspoke. I meant like the FF&E, like the
Okay.
chair, the table.
I just wanted to clarify that. Looking at this picture, the exterior will be finished, the stucco, the railings, all of that we're seeing there will be completed. The only thing that will not be completed are the interior finishes under option 2.
Right.
I want to make sure that we're clear on that.
I don't know the extent of every detail that has been designed and awarded in the GMP. I'm not at that level in the organization. I could get that. This is substantially what is being contemplated to be built there from a appearance.
Right.
I don't know if that color is the right color, if there's wood on those poles, but it's substantially that.
Yeah, and I just want to make sure because if this, to go back to the question that Councilmember Lehman asked, I think it's our intent to get the building completed on the exterior, all the railings in, the concrete work, the painting, the roof on, all of that. And if it takes the person that is possibly awarded a P3 6 months from now, which would take them into June or July or August, whatever the case may be, at least the exterior of the construction work is completed. Their only requirement will be to do the interior modifications. That's what I thought our dialogue and our one-on-one meetings were. So I just want to make sure I'm crystal clear.
That was the same dialogue I had now. So
What we could do in the RFP that we put out, we could specify no changes to the exterior design of the building.
But what you're doing is you're missing my point that I'm trying to make. My point is, I know we have an RFP process. We're going to put it out hopefully tomorrow, whenever the case may be. What I don't want to do is have the park open, the exterior of the building isn't completed. That's my goal. Now, does that mean that we as a city have to do the exterior finish? Because that was my understanding when we were speaking in our one-on-one meetings, that the construction on the exterior, all of the exterior would be completed, the painting to be done. It'd look like a finished building. The only thing that wouldn't be done would be the interior. Now, if that's not the case, so be it. But that's what my understanding on our discussion on our one-on-one meetings.
I don't have the answer to that at this point.
Because we had given.
That's at a much deeper level.
The simple question is the 216,000, is that only for the roof? It's not to finish the exterior walls. It's not to do the stucco, put the railing in, do the painting on the outside. I mean, this is a pretty simple question.
Good afternoon, John Osterstock, Facility Projects Manager. So there are monies in the original GMP allowances that would allow us to do the finishes, the exterior finish.
Okay.
There's your guy.
All right. So it sounds like that's what, I just want to make sure that's our goal moving forward. At least that's my goal. Collectively as a council, we'll make a determination. But my preference is if the park opens on April 15th, this building on the exterior is 100% completed. And then whatever, it's a shell on the inside, and they can do whatever they want to do. That way, we're not going to disrupt, the people going to the park. We're still out there doing construction, or we're doing stucco or cement mixers or mixing, inside's a whole different ballgame. So that's what my perception was of option 2. So I just wanted to make it crystal clear that's what we're going to do. And, you know, for me, putting out an RFP, I definitely support that. My goal is to get back to where we were initially in this process. You know, where someone would be putting up the 1.375 that you mentioned. My goal is to recoup the cost of the building and the RFP. So to make sure that the capital contribution is repaid back to the city. So, you know, for example, if we had $800,000 in the structure of the building that we put out in the RFP, I would like to see that be repaid back to the city. And then over and above that, they have to complete the interior modifications how they see fit for their particular business. That way, we're back up to that $1.3, $1.4 million. We're back to square one where we started with the initial, agreement that we had that fell through. So I want to get the building done on the inside. I think the roof needs to be put on. I know we had some additional cost. I'm okay with the additional monies that you've requested, as long as the exterior of the building is going to be completed. Put it out for an RFP for them to do the interior modifications, get the park open on April 15th or whenever the maximum allowed time is. If this building's not done on the inside, so be it. But I don't want to be disruptive with construction on the exterior. Councilmember Kadout.
Thank you, Mayor. I agree. You answered all my questions because you asked them all. I was going to ask, can the park open if this is just a shell of a building? Paint on the outside, roof is on, will the park be open? And I'm seeing head nods, yes. To me, if that's the roof option, that's the one that I'm for. And I think that we go out for the RFP, we see what comes back. We could even put guidelines in the RFP if we're trying to recoup our costs and like, this is what we're looking for. And I totally agree with that. This option minimizes risk to the taxpayers, and that's what I'm for. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Donnell, have you spoken on this topic yet?
No, sir.
All right, I'm going to give the floor to you. I got a couple other lights on. Then I'm going to check with Councilmember Laster, and then I'll circle back to the individuals that have their lights on for a second time. So go ahead, sir.
Thank you. There are people who've been very intimately attached to this process all along. So thank you all on that piece. There are those who've just been kind of watching from afar. So as we embarked upon this is one of the things that was a big campaign issue. And there were those, when the council got elected, this was moving ahead. So we still hear the remnants of those that just wanted to stop on end. That's been resounding. The issue with that is whenever you stop something where we got to, it just doesn't stop. There's a huge amount of money that goes into that, to the tune of almost $500,000. So where we are today in this process and what we're talking about is that we do have three options. The bigger piece, the second piece I think that really has people concerned is what's going to go in. What are we going to be serving? That's the big bite, but that's not until after this vote. So what you're hearing today, the option one, you just stop it, demo what's there. Well, that'll be around, $500,000-$600,000 to do that. That's off the table. So now we're at two, option two and option three. What we're talking about now, the concessionaire, the agreement that we had when the council got here and that they were working through, they stepped back. It fell through. There was $1.375 million out there. So the city is stepping in to complete it. What we're talking about today is just putting that shell on it. For those of you all know, anybody who got a new roof, you know about metal roofs. They cost. They have a huge upfront cost, but you gather that back. It's a return on investment downstream, especially where this park is located right by the river. That's a conversation for another day. What am I trying to get to? The option that makes the most sense is number two, because we can build this RFP just as the mayor articulated to recoup that money in some kind of structure, where it be the capital up front or cost sharing. For where this process is and for where we're trying to go to open it, this is the best option of the three options, what I'm saying to you. You will hear resoundingly, just stop it. That is not, it's always an option, but that's not a wise and prudent option in my humble opinion. So I just wanted to let those of you all who are outside of this is kind of watching and tracking, and then it'll start to make sense to you on the inside, which is why I will be in support of number 2 and really honing in on getting that park open on time and recouping the dollars that the city has put into it. That's all. Thank you.
Councilmember Laster, you have any comments on this discussion?
Thank you, Mayor. I just have a few. Thank you for asking those questions, Mayor. My biggest concern, of course, like everyone else's, was the recouping of that cost. And I know that during my one-on-one, Mr. City Manager stated that they could put that definitely in the proposal. We'll see what we can get. There's no guarantee. So I just want to point that out because, you know, what I don't want to see happen is us having to do, you know, throw additional dollars at this. I mean, this is really kind of a pickle of a situation, given that the unsolicited P3 didn't work in the first place. Because obviously we can't have an unfinished park. I had a few residents reach out to me this week about it, and they were very pleased with the progress of the park, which made me happy. Because they all said to me, it's going to be beautiful. And I agree. So I will support option 2 as well, because again, we can't have an unfinished park. But I'm glad, Mayor, that you asked the question about the exterior being complete, because that's key. And it was my understanding from the very beginning that this unsolicited P3 initially was going to be able to take away the money from the taxpayers. In other words, it would be able to reimburse the debt service. So that definitely has to happen. You know, sadly, I personally can't support selling alcohol in that park. But when I read the original agreements over the weekend and this week on Monday, you know, I think over 60% of the business plan sales were alcohol with the initial unsolicited P3. So thank you for asking the questions, and I too will be in support of option 2 because we can't have this unfinished. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Kilrain?
Yeah, I just want to go back and clarify so that there's no misunderstanding of where I was moving this to. I definitely in support of option 2, and I assumed that we had the completed outside of the building so that no further construction be required on the outside, and that we're allowing the P3 then to do whatever's necessary on the fixtures and the build out inside. In addition to that, I think that the key is with that construction done, we can open the park prior to that being an operational building. And to expedite that, I think that's the best way to do it. And that was where my support was. And I think that's what we talked about pretty much in the one-on-one discussion, City Manager.
Yeah, I don't have the level of detail. The mayor, you know, I don't know what kind of doors going in there, what kind of window. And so that's why I was just trying to say it is substantially that, but I don't know if the door finish itself is going to be left to the concessionaire or the window or any of those things so that's why I said I don't have that level of detail.
And I started out with the primary requirement is recouping that capital investment piece. And then anything over that could be used in any other way that our cut of that might be to support revenue going forward on maintenance or whatever, however we might use that. But that gives the flexibility to whatever, if we get a P3, an interested party to come in and basically responding to an RFP, they can elaborate on an RFP if they want to whatever degree they want, as long as they're putting money out for it, that's fine. So I'm happy with that. I think it gives us the most leverage, gets us into the park sooner than later, and it's the best route. So I think it's the optimistic approach. Thank you.
Councilmember Steinke.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I just wanted to remind the public that, and we see these pictures and there's no scale. And I don't know if it's possible to go to the next slide. slide number 6, I believe. The concern for me was that I didn't want to see us open the park and have citizens be able to get into that building, either up and over one of the walls if it wasn't finished, or through the doors and the windows, either to get hurt, take up occupancy, cause damage, whatever it was. I wanted to make sure that was that it wasn't a liability to have it there. And that's why it was important to me to get that shell completed and containable, if you will. And the picture that you see right now, to some degree, understand how small this really is. The Jaycee Park is 11.8 acres, which is 514,000 square feet. This building is only 1,100 square feet. It's a very small structure. And so the beauty of the park at park opening, for this structure to not be tables ready, chairs ready, and open to the public at that point, that is not going to be that big a deal. And so, when you look at that building, understand that the only thing that's in that building are the employees of the concessionaire. Everything, as far as the public gets, they get through the pass-through windows, and they sit at the tables on the outside. This isn't a dine-in type of a restaurant. So about a third of it is just bathrooms for the public to use once it's open. So I'm happy to hear the support for completing the gray shell, getting it enclosed, having it a safe building for then a P3 to come in and finish the work and have it set up for their people that they hire to work there to serve our public. So thank you.
Councilmember Lehman.
Yeah. Mr. City Manager, way back, I kept saying, let's alleviate the boat slips. And I'm not trying to beat a dead horse, but if we go with option 2, now I know that the boat slips are a separate situation. They are not part of this. If we alleviate the boat slips completely, which personally I don't think we need, having seen the walkway along the river and whatnot, we alleviate the boat slips completely. That would make option 2, the 648,000, a little less painful, would it not?
Well, you wouldn't have phase 2.
Yeah, if we alleviate phase 2 and we go with to just complete this building, and yes, and then if we do, with having a P3, it would increase the revenue to the city, because with alleviating phase 2, we now have money that we're not going to be spending there to spend on the roof and finishing the outside of the building and the roof. And then with the P3, if the P3 works out, and we don't know that it will or it won't. If it does, then basically the city is going to derive more revenue there without having spent money on phase 2. Is that a possibility, or is it a pipe dream on my part?
My understanding is that the council has already given direction to staff to move forward with phase 2 and boat dock. So it's not a pipe dream. You just need to convince 4 other council members to see it your way.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Kilrain.
Yeah, just real quick. I had the opportunity to stand on that boardwalk and take a look at the river and the mouth there. And you can see from bridge to bridge, that is the most beautiful view that we have in the city of the ocean area and the river area. And it's going to be a fantastic looking park. I think that the boat slips are going to be a very good upgrade for that. I think the opportunity there to continue with phase 2 is great. And the funding for phase 2 is a separate entity, Councilor Lehman, compared to phase 1. Phase 1 was $18 million. And if we could get the capital contribution back, it'll still be around $18 million. And within that 5% overrun contingency piece. And so I think we're still embarking on the right method here. Thank you.
Councilmember Kadouk.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. City Manager, I just want clarity on the record. We did not give them direction to go forward with phase 2. And I made that very clear in the COW. You were not here. It was Connie running that. And she made it very clear that it was all just included. It wasn't that we were going to fund phase 2.
It wasn't about funding. I was,
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
I'm sorry, did I say funding?
You were making it seem as if
Okay.
phase 2 was just secured, and that I don't want Councilmember Lehman to be confused. Phase 2 is not what we are talking about currently.
She was
Mr. Mayor, point of order.
Good. You have the floor, Councilmember Kadouk.
Thank you. I just wanted clarity that we did not give authorization of phase 2 and funding.
Thanks for the clarification.
Right. Yes, the direction was to move forward with the design and permitting part of it. Yes.
All right. Mr. City Manager, it sounds like you got the consensus. Do you need a motion to add $648,000 in additional funding to the project? Is that what you're looking for
There
here?
should be a motion that authorizes a change order in the amount of $647,720.39, which encapsulates all the original work that was done for the site preparation of $405,528.79 and a 216 and change, which comes to the $647,720.39, and also authorizing the city administration to proceed forward with the issuance of an RFP for a potential concessionaire operator that will facilitate the prospective recovery of the amounts associated with the construction of that brick and mortar structure identified as the bistro.
So moved.
So move.
All right, we got two so moves. You got a
So
second?
I'll second.
Okay. All right. Is there any other discussion by council? Seeing none, we have a motion, a second on the floor. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Kadouk,
Aye.
Kilrain,
Aye.
Lastra,
Aye.
Lehman.
Aye.
Long.
Aye.
Steinke,
Aye.
Donnell. Gunter,
Aye.
all ayes, motion carried.
Thank you. We'll move on to the next topic of discussion, surplus property discussion. I added that to the agenda so we could have a discussion as a collective council. Back beginning of last week, sometime I believe it was, our Public Works Director, Mr. Williams, had sent out a updated list on surplus property that I had asked for. I did exclude any of the Academic Village property and any of the 318 acres up in the northwest. I excluded that in my request. And as a result, we got the surplus list that we have here before us today. The reason that I had added this to the discussion, and some of you may know, some of you may not. I know that some of the previous council members that's been here, anytime that we have surplus property, if we want to sell that property off, city management's got to bring that before council to vote on as surplus property. One of the additional things that I had asked for is the values, approximate estimated values of those properties. As you can see, the residential properties, there is a estimated market value that was listed for each one of the properties. If you add all of those up, it's about $3.7 million. And as you can see, any of the commercial properties that we have throughout the city that they have noted as surplus property has not been estimated. I believe, if I recall correctly, in the backup material when they sent this was they felt that they should receive an appraisal on those properties before they identify what the estimated value may be. For me, the reason I brought it forward, if they are surplus properties, they have not been identified for any future uses, then that's something that, in my opinion, that we should sell off and be able to take that particular amount of money as a result of the sale of these properties and the commercial properties and put them in some type of a committed fund where we could identify the use of those dollars at a later time. So that's the initial reason that I brought it forward. Again, I think we have to have staff bring it back at some point and vote on those as surplus property before they can list them. But I thought it was important to have that discussion here today. For me, I'd rather use those dollars for something else, as we all know, looking ahead at next year's budget. We have some reservations on exactly how we are going to look as far as revenue sources. So I think that we need to start looking outside of the box. And to me, this is a good starting point if they are surplus. So that's my recommendation, and that's why I brought it forward. So I thought it would be a good discussion for us to have. Councilmember Kilrenny.
Yeah, I think it's a great recommendation. And I would like to make sure that the properties that we would look at making available are really ones that we've identified as not being of a future use for us, because we're also taking the effort to look at purchasing properties to consolidate for commercial space. So as long as they fit within that criteria, that we wouldn't have a use for them in the future, I think it's a great idea. And I think that, getting the appraisals in on the commercial properties that have that same criteria applied is a good source of income for us. So I'd be very supportive of it. Thank you.
Councilmember Donnell.
Am I hearing you say that I like the concept that we'll bring it back and flush through the details of the Cal? Is that what you're asking for today?
Yeah, I think first off, I think the city manager is probably looking for a consensus by a majority of us to move this forward. They're going to have to go back and confirm that these properties are going to be surplus. At some point, they will have to bring those back to us in a voting meeting for us to vote on them and actually identify them as surplus properties. I think that as staff has already recommended on the commercial properties, it would probably be beneficial to get appraisals on those particular properties. So at some point, I think what the city manager is looking for today is some type of consensus to move forward with this initiative, knowing that it's going to have to come back to us with some specificity and some appraisals as well.
So conceptually, I'm in, just understanding that you have the legal hurdles and making sure it's not in our long range plan, whatever you bring back. That's why I was saying we can bet it. But yes, I'm all over the conception.
Councilmember Cadieux.
Thank you, Mayor. I am in agreement with getting rid of our surplus properties. We have over 1,800 properties. Are you telling me that there's only 60 that are surplus, first of all? Second of all, can someone on staff give an explanation of why we have these properties to begin with? And then also, it sucks that we would be doing this, and I am for this, and I do support this, but we're doing it when it's a buyer's market, so we're not even going to get top dollar for it. So that kind of sucks. But if you could tell us why we even have these properties to begin with, I think that would be a good clarifying piece for the public.
Yeah, I'll have our property broker just give an example of a couple of them. I mean, everyone has its own story.
Of course, I'm not looking for you to go through, just a generalization of why we would have surplus properties.
And while we're waiting for her, Councilmember Cadieux, just reiterate, the two big parcels that I know we own here in the city I excluded was Academic Village and the 318 acres up in the northwest. So I know that's where we have a bulk of those properties, the 1,800 that you had mentioned. But I excluded those purposely. I think when you look at the 318 acres up in the northwest, once we get some water and sewer down Burtstower Road, they're going to be much more valuable.
Absolutely.
So I think it's to our advantage to wait on those. Academic Village, I think the city manager is going to be bringing a recommendation on that particular parcels sometime after the first of the year. So these just happen to be what was left over in the discussion that they sent to us.
Awesome. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council members. Dawn Andrews, property broker for the City of Cape Coral. First, in reference to the 1,800 parcels, those are 1,800 strap numbers. In Festival Park alone, there's 517. We haven't combined the strap numbers yet. Lake Mead, there's 103. So it's not that they're all surplus property. I just wanted that cleared up. There's certain properties that we have been combining. Recently, we just combined the properties down at Bimini East as that project moves forward. The properties that are on this list here, we went through. So in reference to, I think, Councilmember Kilrain's comment about making sure we don't need them. So these are residential properties that were streeted over to the city. People didn't pay their property taxes, sits on the county lands list for 3 years, then the county makes the decision whether or not to street it over to the city. And then there's a 4-year period before the property is cleared without us having to do a suit for quiet title. So those properties, the majority of them, then Amy Yearsley under the affordable housing in DSD, she goes through our list. She puts together properties for her affordable housing initiative, and most recently had just done a program in coordination with the county, and there was, I think it was like 14 properties that went over to Habitat for Humanity earlier this year. Some of these properties will be looked at for that. There are some of these properties that we go over and we make the decision whether or not they are needed within, and then I will take this list and we'll vet it through the rest of the departments to make sure nobody else needs them, especially the commercial properties and the bigger properties. These residentials, the majority of them are in with utilities, so it's not like we need them for a lift station site or not, but the ones that are north of Pine Island Road where we don't have utilities, we look at that to see if it can be used instead of purchasing a lift station site. So that's where the majority of these had come from.
That was all. Thank you. That was a very
Is that
thorough-
enough?
Yeah, that's a
Okay.
thorough explanation. I just wanted the public to understand exactly why we're here, and I do support this. Thank you.
Okay. Councilmember Stein.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, absolutely would support selling those assets that we don't need, turning them into the financial resources we need for the things that we do need. Although the determination of whether something is surplus or not, I think, and that's where this conversation is going, is it really surplus, or could we need it in the future for something? And for me, with kind of a picture being worth 1,000 words, I think it'd be great to have some type of like a scatter map, that would show us where these properties are, even to the point of including those that the mayor had previously said, hey, omit those. At least have them on the map to say, here are where those properties are that we own, but we believe we do need or will be much more valuable when water and sewer goes in. And so at least so that we have a frame of reference around these properties to determine which ones we would necessarily carve out and say, yes, let's liquidate those, or those, hey, well, that's really close to this that is coming. Maybe we want to reserve those in case we were going to look at making a change there. So for me, I'm supportive of it, but I certainly would like a map, not just a list.
Okay, and so Public Works or my office is working with Melissa Perez and some of the other GIS analysts, And we're trying to put together a map that'll identify where all the properties are, and so that we can have a map that goes along with the list. It's just been a coordination effort that we hadn't been able to finish.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Councilmember Laster, any discussion on this topic?
No, I think you all have covered it. I too will support this. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. The other thing that I didn't mention earlier, that I think it's important to recognize as well, all of these parcels today, we are not getting any ad valorem tax. So as soon as we sell them, not only do you make money there, then they're on the tax roll and we'll be getting a yearly income because of their ad valorem tax. So just another example, I think it's important to move all the surplus property, no matter where it is in the city, forward, so we can benefit on both ends. Mr. City Manager, you get the direction you're looking for?
I did.
All right. Thank you very much. Let's go ahead and move on to the consent agenda. I will open up the consent agenda for council to pull any items. The only item that I have personally that I would like to pull is item 18, resolution 385-25. And I will go to Councilmember Steinke.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to pull number 4, resolution 363-25.
Councilmember Kilrain.
I'd like to pull resolution 364-25, number 5.
Okay. And Councilmember Lehman.
Yeah, I'd like to pull 301, number 1, 301-25.
All right. And I'll check with Councilmember Laster. Any items you want to pull?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I would like to pull item number 8, resolution 371-25.
Okay, it looks like we have a total of 18 consent agenda items. And we have one, a resolution 301-25. 2 is resolution 363-25. 3 would be resolution 364-25. 4 item, or the 4th item pool, resolution 371-25. And the item that I pulled was resolution 385-25. So that's a total of 5, if my math is correct. So I will entertain a motion for the 13 remaining items on the consent.
Motion to
Mayor, I
approve.
got different numbers.
Motion to
All right,
approve
hold
the
on.
13.
Hold on.
I'm looking at 19 on my agenda.
Is there 19?
There's 19.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
And
What
look,
I pulled
there's
item
one,
19,
there's one,
resolution 385-25.
2,
So
3,
5 from 19 should be 14. maybe.
Yeah, motion to approve the 14 existing retained items on the consent agenda.
Okay,
Second.
all right. Any other discussion on those items? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Kazook,
Aye.
Kilrain,
Aye.
Lastra,
Aye.
Lehman,
Aye.
Long,
Aye.
Steinke,
Aye.
Donnell, Gunter,
Aye.
all ayes, motion carried.
Okay, the first item pulled, resolution 301-25, was pulled by Councilmember Lehman. I will give you the floor a minute.
Thank you. I just want to clarify, the reason I wanted it pulled is because I want a clarification on from November 12th, the Committee of the Whole, we had the Land Development Code, proposed changes to the fencing ordinance. What did that finally end up to be?
Good, Mr. City Manager.
Staff has met with the mayor for the discussion in there, and they're revising the language to bring back to him.
So that it's going to be a situation where a fencing contractor can, if he is,
Different subject.
has all the qualifications, will be able to construct a fence, not have to go to a general contractor to construct a fence, correct?
Any contract Any person looking to pull a fence permit that has an issue with their license needs to contact the state of Florida. That has nothing to
Okay.
do with our jurisdiction.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That was the only reason I was questioning that.
Yeah, and just to give you a little background on that particular topic, I did meet with staff and express what my concerns were on not only the fence, but retaining walls and everything else that was a part of that discussion. Have not heard back from them regarding that, but at some point, I'm sure that particular discussion will come back. It was my understanding they were going to make some modifications, some recommendations, and then I guess that will come back to council at a future committee of the whole meeting. I will tell you on the fence, I actually had a call yesterday on that. I reached out to Department of Licensing here in the state of Florida. It is required for a contractor who is doing business for a resident or a business in the state of Florida in order to pull a permit or engage in a contract with that particular individual has to be licensed. So.
Well, no, I would expect the
so
fencing contractor to be
Some of the
licensed.
concern was the particular contractors that have been doing business for many years were either grandfathered in with some other jurisdictions like Lee County. The state did away with specialty licensing. So there's no longer a license for fencing. And so the few people that I've spoken to that are contractors that are not licensed, I've recommended that they call the Florida Department of Licensing because they're the ones that dictate who needs to have a license and who not. So that's just for some backup material for yourself.
Thank you.
All right,
That
so
was the only reason I-
Motion to approve resolution 301-25.
Second.
any other discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Paduk,
Aye.
Kilrain,
Aye.
Lastra,
Aye.
Lehman,
Aye.
Long,
Aye.
Steinke,
Aye.
Donnell, Gunter,
Aye.
all ayes, motion carried.
Okay, we'll move on to item 4 on the agenda, Resolution 363-25. Councilmember Steinke, you pulled that item. I'll give you the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm fully supportive of this. I just wanted to bring to the public's attention that this grant came to us, and I want to thank the Lee County Tourist Development Council for approving, and the Lee County Board of County Commissioners approving this $8,000. The attractions marketing funding was at one time only eligible to private businesses. Recently, a change was made to allow municipalities to apply for those dollars if in fact they themselves had attractions for the citizens and for visitors to those municipalities. And this is one of the first ones where we as a city, for one of our own assets, that is an attraction for our locals and our visitors with our Arts Center. So $8,000 means a lot to smaller entities and attractions. And so thanks to Lee County, both the TDC and Board of County Commissioners for approving this grant funding for our Arts Center. And with that, I'd like to make a motion to approve 363-25.
Second.
Any other council discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Paduk,
Aye.
Kilrain,
Aye.
Lastra,
Aye.
Lehman,
Aye.
Long,
Aye.
Steinke,
Aye.
Donnell, Gunter,
Aye.
all ayes, motion carried.
Okay, move to item 5, Resolution 364-25 on the agenda. Councilmember Kilrain, you pulled this item. I'll give you the floor, sir.
Sure. There are two reasons why I pulled it. One is just to explain for the public a little bit of detail, because it seems it may seem like an extravagant amount to pay just for a naming rights. And two, there's a little bit of a bust in the contract as I see it written. Number one, this opportunity really is one that could be a pretty good revenue generator. We have identified several particular types of entities that could be put into a category where we could provide a large player to come in and have a franchise kind of naming right to it. And they have been isolated into parks, government, city-owned buildings, and then just one-off kind of locations. And if you look at some of those, the revenue generation potential of these is fairly large. And I'll leave it to city staff if they want to elaborate on how much it could be, but order of magnitude $1.5 million to several millions of dollars for any one of these. The mechanism under which it is being approved is that there are two opportunities. One in which a fixed fee of $5,500 would prevail at a 20% basis, and another with a reduced commission fee of 15% at a $7,500 basis. I think that staff is supporting and would like us to proceed with the 20%. So we're looking for the large leverage accounts to be coming on to this, which is the reason why it's a lower fixed amount and a larger percentage bonus. The bust that is in the contract is if we provide notice, we already entered into the original contract for phase one, and that was them to do a summary and make projections on what that revenue stream might be for us. And that was the basis under which staff evaluating came up with this provision. The initial continuance or notice to proceed to phase two, it calls for an 18-month period before we can terminate. Later on in our contract, specifically, we are calling out for a 12-month minimum on this. So there's a bust there. I'd just like to make sure that we understand and clarify what that is. Joe, maybe if you might be able to comment on that. And also just make a comment as to why you chose the 20% over the 15.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Joe Petrella, Parks and Recreation Director. As you recall, maybe about 5-6 months ago, we brought this to a committee of the whole meeting and discussed with the superlative group our option, what we did in our discovery phase of what we could potentially get with this agreement. And we asked if you'd like us to go and explore phase two. This is the phase two options that we were provided. This amendment to their contract will shift from valuation work into a full year-round strategic sponsorship sales campaign for the city, focused on maximizing new naming rights and sponsorship revenue. It also gives us an opportunity to do a strategic sales campaign, including prospecting, outreach, meetings, proposal development, negotiations, and closing of naming rights and sponsorship agreements for the city's most valuable assets first. The first year of activation for us is very important. We chose a 20% just because it kept the upfront costs directly out of pocket on cash flow at $66,000. We're not sure what the first year is going to bring. So we really were looking at that. In the long run, obviously a lower commission will probably get us more, and that can be changed with the agreement amendments in the future. But we're definitely excited about this. So just a little background. Currently, we have our special events team out there trying to get dollars to help support our special events. We really haven't formalized that the way it probably should be. That's why we went with a third-party contractor to do this, to help kind of create that leverage and sales ability that they have versus what our Parks and Recreation staff has. So if we're going to do a program like this, I would need 2 or 3 staff members to really get that done from an internal perspective and really get out there and do sales and marketing and really get these done. So that's why we went with the outside agency at $66,000 a year is what we were at upfront costs, and then a potential 20% commission. We still save money without having that be a full-time staff member or somebody internal. So that's why we chose this option and we went forward with it. We really want to take this out of our staff's hands and then bring these agreements to council for their final approval. So you're all aware of what we're doing, and we're not just kind of doing things that's not been approved by council. That's why we did this.
And just to emphasize, I like to look to the outside rather than have residents or the city pay for something, look for a third party to pay for it and contribute. this is a clean contribution from a third party. Doesn't cost the residents an extra penny, except that we'll recoup all of the fees that we're getting in it. Plus we'll get residual income on an ongoing basis. And this basis, we're getting 80% of that revenue coming to us, less administrative overhead. So it's a good deal. There are two other parameters on this, so I just want to bring out so everyone understands it. Once we terminate the relationship with these guys, any contracts that are in place, they continue to get the stream, their income stream, their revenue stream of that 20% until that terminates.
Correct.
And or for a period of 1 year after, if they brought someone to the table and we close a deal with them, they also have rights to that. So there are the two hangups that go after termination that have teeth, but they're still very, very valuable opportunities. So with that, I am in full support of this, and I will make a motion to have it approved. Thank you.
Okay, any other discussion by council? Seeing none, we have a motion and a second for Resolution 364-25. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Paduk,
Aye.
Kilrain,
Aye.
Lastra,
Aye.
Lehman,
Aye.
Long,
Aye.
Steinke,
Aye.
Donnell, Gunter,
Aye.
all ayes, motion carried.
Okay,
Thank you.
move on to number 8 under consent agenda, Resolution 371-25. Councilmember Laster, you pulled this item, so I'll turn the floor over to you.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to point out that this is the item that the Youth Council presented earlier today in our meeting regarding the Love Locks structure, as well as the location in Cultural Park. So I'm hoping that we get support for this, because I know this project has been going on since before my time. And I wanted to publicly thank again the welder locally who's donating the labor and the material, and also our Parks and Recs director for the recommendation of Cultural Park, and our city manager for donating the slab. This resolution, we just need to approve so that we can have all of those items done and hopefully this completed by next year. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion for that particular resolution.
Motion to
Motion
approve
to approve.
371-25.
Second. All right. Any other discussion by council? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Paduk,
Aye.
Kilrain,
Aye.
Lastra,
Aye.
Lehman,
Aye.
Long,
Aye.
Steinke,
Aye.
Donnell, Gunter,
Aye.
all ayes, motion carried.
Okay, thank you. Move on to the last item, 19, Resolution 385-25. I'm the one that pulled that particular item. This is a item which was basically remodifying an incentive package that we approved last year, or I'm sorry, earlier in the year. And the original ask that we had for this particular corporation, Bones Coffee, was they wanted to do a project that was valued at about $25.8 million for the overall project cost. And we previously approved an incentive package of $2,040,050. And the breakdown of that particular incentive was about $562,500 in site improvements, ad valorem tax reimbursement of $387,550, direct equipment reimbursement of $1 million for their equipment, a lease buyout of $90,000, and about $175,000 in an impact deferral for a 2-year deferral, which totaled the little over $2 million that I had mentioned earlier. Subsequently, they must have contacted staff and have asked staff to modify that incentive to add an additional $689,602. They stated that the overall project cost would be about $27,296,521 is the revised cost of the project. Therefore, they are asking for an incentive of $2,729,652. One of the issues that I had, well, two issues. Number one, I think, do we want to modify that incentive that we've already approved, I think is one question. The other problem that I had, if you do the numbers, if you look at the original project at $25.8 million, we were a 7.91% stakeholder. That's what the $2 million, a little over $2 million, that's what it equated to. A 7.91% investment that the city was making into the project. When it came back to us this time, of course, the project increased to a little over $27.2 million, almost 27.3. But not only did they ask for additional monies, they went from 7.91% to 10%. So that's how we get the $689,000 and some change that they're asking for. If we stick to the 7.91% formula that we did originally, that would only increase their ask by $119,184. So for me, if we are going to approve any modification, I think we still stick with the 7.91% formula. I had some other questions. One of the reasons for me, and this is only me speaking personally, one of the reasons that I look at incentives and vote to approve those is what type of jobs are they bringing along with the project. To me, that's important. That's why we don't incentivize storage facilities, because they bring 2 or 3 jobs and that's all. So to me, that's a very important component. What I'm looking at, we do have something here in the city called a job creation incentive programs, but that wasn't applied here. They have 75 existing employees now. They state that that they're going to bring 55 additional positions. Looking back on this now, I would have liked to seen some type of a breakdown for some job creation incentive programs. What we have as a policy, you get $3,000 per job as long as you fill them within a 3-year period with a maximum of $150,000. We didn't do that this year in this scenario, and I believe it was for a particular reason. We were trying to help them with their upfront costs, where a lot of the incentives for a job creation incentives, that's after the fact. But for me, I couldn't support the 10%. I could only support this at a maximum, the 7.91% formula that we've already used. So that would take the 689,000 and change down to the 119,184. So I just wanted to bring it forward. I did the math, looked at the incentive, and even at the only doing the 119, we're about 2 million, about $150,000. So it's still a pretty good incentive. I'd even looked at, had staff give us, we have 2 different incentive programs that we have here in the city. As you remember, FY26, we started a new program where we put in $3 million, which is the EBDO reserve, where we put $3 million in, and we try to maintain that $3 million each and every year. But really, if you look at this particular grant and some of the other one that we've already applied, even for FY27, we're going to eat up 50% of that $3 million already. And then when you look at some other outgoing forecasted expenditures, there's also some, we're almost, even though we've applied the $3 million on a yearly basis, over half of it's already expended or committed to for the next 5 or 6 years if you look at the chart. We do have another incentive project program that has, I think we've allocated about $350,000 So there is some monies there. So I just wanted to bring it forward to council, give you my perspective on it, what my recommendation is, and we'll open up for discussion. Councilmember Donnell.
Thank you. I had a couple of those questions along that line with my one-on-one. I see the economic director. Before I start asking questions, were you there to present something to us and get in front of it? Because you might answer it. Or were you just there waiting on us?
No, I did want to present the project, go over some of the merits and what we took into consideration when we came before you requesting additional funding. So if you don't mind us.
Are you all right? I would like to see it, Mayor, before I get it. She might answer it.
You got the floor.
Okay, thank you. Mayor, council members, Sharon Woodbury, Economic Development Manager. I wanted to take this time to present some of the merits of the project. The mayor gave a recap of the numbers and what we're looking at in terms of the increased investment, the increased grant amount, and the percentage. So if we take a step back in terms of what the mission of our office is, as well as in Cape Compass, what our mission is as far as the city's vision and mission, it's to expand and diversify the tax base, retain and grow existing businesses, expand employment opportunities in the city, offer incentives to invest in and create jobs. So we felt that it hit every single one of the goals in terms of what we're trying to accomplish in growing the commercial base for the city of Cape Coral. One interesting fact in our economic development strategic plan is that 57% of our workforce leaves Cape Coral for their jobs every day. We have an opportunity to retain the existing jobs that are here and keep those 75 employees here, but also to bring 55 additional jobs as a result of this project. The wage premium is 40% over what the local average wage is for Lee County. And so that being that the average wage right now is $28.16 an hour, the average wage for employees of Bones Coffee is $39.46 an hour. So there were some very compelling components of this project and wanting to make it work in terms of this project in particular, but also our overall goal and mission of and what we're trying to accomplish. The guiding ordinance that we have for our incentives, it does allow for 20% of our investment to be provided for projects, maximum. So while the ordinance states that we can provide up to 20% of a contribution, we're well below that. We are certainly above the number that we had before. But as a result of this new proposal and the new costs, there are some additional benefits that are coming from the project. They are expanding their administrative offices. This new investment is creating a headquarters for operations that will be expanding nationally. They're going to be establishing distribution points throughout the country. It makes Cape Coral a national name, a national brand and hub for a company that we believe is only going to continue to grow and have a more significant presence. That's really the core part of what we looked at in terms of these costs. But certainly we feel that this is a very strong project. By keeping that participation rate at 10%, we're well below what the ordinance calls for. And so we just ask council's consideration.
Thank you. I just want to follow up.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I want to make sure I still had the floor. So one of the things that we work on, especially from this end, is a matter of consistency. We went from 7.91 to 10%. The question is that something that's our policy if we come back and meet the tenants? In other words, is that something that we offer to move a project that we've already approved at a percentage and then to move it up? Is that standard practice for us?
It's a discretion.
Okay. So I know the mayor had mentioned something about where the funds were, but at the 50% up to now, kind of that we might kind of insinuates that we might run out of funds. Is that a concern that you have in office, that if we allocate 50% of the budget to this one, that we might run out for the fiscal year?
So, and if you'd like me to answer that, it's something that we're monitoring. So I've got the spreadsheet. It's what we presented to in terms of conversations with the mayor and where we were with the numbers. We can pull back and determine our percentage rates based on what it looks like we're going to be trying to fund for the particular year. There are things that are unexpected. I don't have a project now, and these usually take some time, months where we're talking and we see something coming down the pipeline. So I don't have anything that right now looks like we're going to need to come to council before something with one of these, with a project of this size. Not saying that it won't happen, but we're into December. We haven't had those conversations yet. We've had Marriott and this project, which was conversations over 6 months. So in terms of looking forward.
Oh, I didn't mean to cut you off. Thank you. Last question, I'll make my final comment. So is there any guarantee, because what moved me was the fact that we have better jobs and the fact that they were moved from 75 to 125, is there a guarantee that those additional 55 jobs, number one, will be available, and number two, that they will be here for Cape Coral residents?
So in terms of the number of jobs, no, there is no guarantee. We do have components built into the agreement that says that they're going to, they being Bones Coffee, are going to be here and operating over a period of time. We forgive a portion of this over a 5-year period. And so we're looking for them to perform with what they've provided in the agreement, but we don't have anything in here specific to the jobs that pulls back if they don't create the 55 jobs.
Well, I'll end with this, Council. Go ahead, Mr. Manager.
So it's important to know that when we are looking at economic development incentives, each incentive package is trying to hit a particular target or goal for both the organization and the private sector. Not every grant that we award is a jobs-based grant. That is one of the tools we have. Let me give you an example. A demolition grant doesn't have any jobs. A grant to provide outdoor seating to create fine dining experiences or weather protected experiences for our residents and businesses does not generate any jobs. It just provides shade and shelter. In this particular instance, what we were up against is what we saw happen last year or maybe 2 years ago. We had a business that was considering leaving our community. So I would say by getting them to stay, we've saved 75.
Got it.
So what we try to do is understand what is happening with that business. And then we develop a plan of attack for success for Cape Coral against whoever we're competing with. And in this case, just like a business in that same area, they left and went to Fort Myers. We lost them, Energy Harness. They're gone. Lost all of them. Probably one of the biggest upsets I have for economic development since I've been in this office, or in this chair. Was not going to let it happen again with Bones.
So, in concluding, Council, thank you all for bearing with me. You all live and breathe this, and I get it. The concerns are legitimate, but I will listen to my colleagues. I am certainly to support that last speech you're saying. I'm leaning, to support it unless I feel, hear something that's just, changes my mind. But I am open to hear what my colleagues have to say. But for that very reason that we're talking about moving it forward, I'm on board with it, but I'm listening. Thank you.
Yeah, real quickly before I go to Councilmember Steinke, because I didn't hear it in the presentation and I failed to mention this earlier. This is a budget amendment item. And when you look at our backup material, Mr. City Manager, It says that this particular item will be taken, this 689,000 will be taken from general fund. So there's not an identified incentive bucket, if you will, that has been identified. So it just says general fund in the backup material. It doesn't say any of the incentives that I had mentioned earlier.
Sorry about that, Mayor. The budget amendment, if we needed to pay something during the fiscal year 2026, we have the incentive reserve that the city council set up through the financial policy, which is about $3 million a year. And so if there's an actual payment that needs to be made, it would come from that reserve.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that because they do show a balance for 2026 of about almost $1.9 million. But in our backup material, it says general fund. So I just want to make sure that we're not taking it out of the general fund, no matter if it's the 689 and 119 that I recommended. I just want to make sure we're taking it from the incentive program.
It is from the incentive program, but the incentive reserve is in the general fund.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Councilmember Steinke.
Thank you, Mayor. I was fully aware of the potential loss of the company in the city, and I thought a great job had been done, and if you will, another red carpet had been laid out to keep them here and have them grow here rather than somewhere else. And so the decision for it to go to becoming a national headquarter, thought was even greater. Like you said, to put Cape Coral on the map, as you know, for the most part, everybody knows Starbucks is Seattle. And it's kind of the way it goes. And so hopefully Bones will be just as popular, and everybody will think Bones and Cape Coral, Florida. So I think that's great. And I'm all in favor of providing incentives to have those success stories here. I did have a question though, of how did what's the why behind the going from 791 to 10 in the calculation? Was that their idea? Since it had already been approved one way, I understand coming back for another bite at the apple because of a change in their pro forma. Why the change in the percentage? Was that their idea or our idea for some reason?
Okay, I'll answer that. The 10% comes from internal discussion that happens between the city manager and I. So we were presented with the cost increase in that being that they had basically started to finalize some of the numbers. I think I mentioned in the memo, I'm not sure if I mentioned as part of the presentation, that a significant part of this increase is because they decided to expand the amount of administrative office spaces within the building by from 6,000 square feet to 14,000 square feet. Roughly $300 a square foot for office space. That's $1.8 million in additional construction costs. So they presented to us the final numbers that they had, and that this was a part of what they were looking at for the pro forma. There's a board that is looking at the decisions that are being made. And so we had to make the compelling case of why the additional cost for construction of a new building were defensible compared to an existing building in Fort Myers, where the developer there was going to buy it down and get them to the lease rate that they needed to be at. So in order for us to look at what we thought we could reasonably do, I looked at the total cost of the investment, looking at that 10% as kind of our gauge for where we felt like we would have hit our limit, because we're talking about equipment, we're talking about build out, not just new construction, and where we could adjust the number from where we were before. So for the enhanced value recapture grant, we had already went above what Chapter 29 basically provides guidelines for. So we went from what was, I think, 50% for 10 years. That was where we kind of started as the baseline for chapter 29, we had already increased our percentage through the enhanced value and went for 80% to 10 years. So I didn't want to touch that. I tried to look at what was like for like. That component, the direct equipment grant and leasehold improvements aligned with what the new increased costs were that we had. So because that line item matched what that incentive was for, I had a window of where I wanted to be and where I thought that we could reasonably get to in terms of a defensible number for what we were going to provide as a grant.
Okay, and to Council Member Donnell's point, as far as consistency and whatnot, have we done 10% before? Have we used 10% as a calculation before? Yes?
It's typically when I meet with them, whenever we're meeting, typically what I say is we 10% is our max, like where we like to be at.
Okay.
If we're going with EVR and certain types of programs.
All right, well, seeing as the money's it's been validated that the money is coming from those designated funds inside of the general fund, and that's what the purpose of those dollars are for. And for me, it's not gaining 55 jobs. It's in connection with saving 75. So it's really getting 130 jobs, if you will, instead of losing 75. We're going to keep those and add the 55. I would be supportive if that's the what it takes to keep them here and to have a national headquarters here. I would be supportive of it. Thank you.
Councilmember Kilrain?
Yeah, I mentioned before that I thought that this is an ideal opportunity for us, and that it was a manufacturing-based industry, and they're looking at putting the headquarters here now. I had a conversation with the owner several weeks ago, where we had already made the initial presentation, and there was some concern that he might be thinking about keeping it here. And the two areas that he identified was one that his board was giving him some concerns that basically they couldn't do national marketing from here or distribution from here easily, and that the relocation of equipment was going to be much more expensive, and they were looking at expanding their facility beyond what they originally thought. So those two parameters were bearing upon whether or not he would choose us or moving to that place in Fort Myers. I related that to city manager. And I think that based on those, I think that the amount of the incentive was probably increased based on thinking about those two parameters and the discussion about how we might be able to facilitate that distribution mechanism. So city manager, you want to just comment on that piece of it too?
No, I mean, we definitely understand that this facility is coming with a purpose. I'm going to tell you now that if somebody, a developer came to me and said, I'm going to build you a 100,000 square foot warehouse, I'm going to incentivize that. In this case, we're getting an end user, and then the existing space that we have is going to then maybe bring 75 more jobs. So this is way more than just, fills multiple buckets for us from an economic development.
Okay. Can I ask why we're not looking at the employment piece of this, the 55 jobs? Why aren't we tacking that in? Right.
So this was to facilitate the construction of the building alone and to get the numbers where they needed to be. We did not take off, and we actually talked about the job creation incentive, which is the $3,000 per job created. However, because that was based on operations and things in the future, and it's a reimbursement after employees are there, the timing of what was important and what they needed to accomplish now was more based on what we're proposing now as opposed to the job creation incentive.
Okay. I guess what I'm thinking about, if this was brought to us today for the first time, and was at 10%, I wouldn't question it. The mayor brings up a valid point, though. What did move us from that earlier number of 7.19 to the 10%? And I think that the expansion of the property or the manufacturing space and the relocation of headquarters here too are added incentives for it. So I think I will be supporting it. Thank you.
Seeing no other lights on, Councilmember Lastra, any discussion on this topic?
No, I think you all have covered it. I'll support this as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion to approve Resolution 385-25.
Second.
Second.
Okay, seeing no other discussion, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Paduk,
Aye.
Kilrain,
Aye.
Lastra,
Aye.
Lehman. Long,
Aye.
Steinke,
Aye.
Donnell, Gunter,
No.
7 ayes, 1 nay, motion carried.
Okay, we'll move on to appointments to boards and committees. We don't have anything listed tonight. Item 8D, unfinished business. Follow-up items for council. We have one thing on the agenda, it appears. I guess updating the city council meeting calendar. Back, the Community Redevelopment Agency calendar was approved at their 11/12 CRA meeting. Approved their meeting on October 28th in place of the November meeting, since there was no cows in November. Since the city council approved their meeting calendar prior to the 11/12, I think the big thing is we have to identify that we're going to start the committee of the whole meeting after the CRA meeting on that particular day. Is that correct, Madam City Clerk?
Yes.
So that's the only change. So we need a motion basically to approve the updated calendar, which will result on the meeting on 10/28, or the calendar that was approved on 10/28. It's the meeting on 10/28/26, where the redevelopment agency meeting will start at 9 and the committee of the whole will start at 9:30.
So move to approve.
Any council discussion on that? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Paduk,
Aye.
Kilrain,
Aye.
Lastra,
Aye.
Lehman. Long,
Aye.
Steinke,
Aye.
Donnell, Gunter,
Aye.
all ayes, motion carried.
Okay, item 9 is ordinances and resolution. 9A is public hearings, quasi judicial hearings. We do not have any hearings tonight, and we'll move on to item 9B, legislative public hearings. First of which is resolution 318-25. Madam City Clerk, please read title.
Resolution 318-25, a resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of Cape Coral, Florida, electing to use the uniform method of collecting non-ad valorem special assessment levied within the incorporated area of the city described herein, stating a need for such levy, providing for the mailing of this resolution, and providing for an effective date.
Okay, thank you. I'll turn it over to staff.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Crystal Feast, Financial Services Director. This is an annual notice of intent resolution required by Florida statutes that allows the city to consider uniform method of collection for any of our non-ad valorem assessments imposed during the upcoming tax year. The uniform method of collection is a billing method whereby an annual assessment is placed on the tax bill and collected by the county tax collector on behalf of the city. Pursuant to Section 197 of the Florida statute, a local government must adopt a resolution at a public hearing indicating that a special assessment is being contemplated and that it intends to utilize the uniform method of collection. And formal notification must be sent to the property appraiser and tax collector by January 10th of the next year. The government must also advertise its intent in a newspaper for 4 consecutive weeks preceding tonight's meeting or hearing, which we have done. And it's important to note that the adoption of the resolution does not obligate the city to actually impose any of the assessments included in the resolution. It simply allows for some flexibility as we develop the upcoming budget to explore and consider different opportunities. The city began using this method in 2002 to improve collections and reduce account delinquency rates.
The city currently utilizes this method of billing for the following assessments: utility assessments, solid waste, stormwater, vacant lot mowing, fire services, capital facility expansion charges, and Del Prado Mall parking lot. Additional potential assessments identified in the resolution are included here. It's important to note that we've added delinquent deferred assessments to the list compared to last year. And if you recall, just this last August, we brought a resolution forward that allowed the city to collect on some delinquent deferred assessments. As part of our, some of the UEP's areas had a program which allowed property owners to defer their assessment payments. At the time that the property is either sold, refinanced, or there's a transfer of ownership, that assessment is due. However, in 7 cases, we were not able to collect. So by approval of that resolution, we were able to set new terms for those residents and then add it annually to their tax bill. And so adding it here will allow us to do that moving forward, because we do recognize that we may have more of those in the future. And with that, staff asks that you approve the resolution before you. Thank you.
Okay, I'll now open up the public input. Anyone wishing to speak on Resolution 318-25, please come forward. Seeing none? Oh, do we have someone?
Old people, they're slow. I'm old and slow, but my mind is just fine. This is just another money grab. We know the state is talking about removing property tax on homesteaded properties in Florida. But what this is going to do, because you'll probably be impacted, you're just going to use this to keep grabbing more money from us. And just as a side note, I know what the law says you have to advertise in a newspaper. Most people don't get a newspaper. Most people don't even look up a newspaper online. Something needs to change. That or a direct mailing to every property owner in the city. That's all I got to say.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak? Seeing none, public input is now closed. Is there a motion regarding Resolution 318-25?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any council discussion? Councilmember Kadouk?
Thank you, Mayor. Ms. Kavanaugh, this is very procedural, and everyone is mailed their trim notice, which has their non-ad valorem assessments on it. So it's advertised on the website if they don't read the paper. And I agree with you. A lot of people don't get the paper. I personally do. However, it is advertised in multiple places, web and paper. And this is, again, procedural. I asked about this last year. This does not mean we're imposing any new assessments. We're just simply doing the procedure of we can use assessments. And furthermore, to bring up your point on property taxes, if we eliminate property taxes, it will be all assessments. Thank you.
Mr. City Manager.
I just want to say, when any assessment is levied, there has to be an assessment roll, and every property on that assessment roll is mailed a notice of the time and hearing and their assessment. The process for using them is it's uniform collection. So you have to follow it's the same process. So everybody in an assessment does get a notice.
Councilmember Long?
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I asked this last year, fairly certain of the answer this year, but is this the same as the one that we did last year? Are there any new additions?
Except there's one new addition, the deferred assessment, delinquent deferred assessments. That's
Got it.
the only one.
Thank you.
Okay, seeing no other lights on, we got a motion second on the floor. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Kadouk?
Aye.
Kilrain?
Aye.
Lastra?
Aye.
Lehman? Aye. Long?
Aye.
Steinke?
Aye.
Donnell? Aye. Gunter?
Aye.
All ayes, motion carried.
Okay, move on to item 9C. Just want to remind everyone who wants to participate in citizens input that's coming up. If you haven't done so, please fill out a card. After introductions, we'll get to citizens input, and the city clerk will get all the cards and call you up. Please stay in your seat until your name's called. Item 9D is introductions, Resolution 368-25. Madam City Clerk, please read title, set the public hearing date.
Resolution 368-25, a resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of Cape Coral, Florida, providing for the vacation of plat for a portion of unexcavated Dolphin Canal right-of-way and underlining easements adjacent to lots 9 and 10, Block 14, Unit 1, Part 2, Cape Coral subdivision, providing for the vacation of the platted public utility and drainage easements lying in lots 9 and 10, Block 14, Unit 1, Part 2. Property located at 909 Dolphin Drive, providing for an effective date. The public hearing will be on January 7, 2026.
Okay, any discussion by staff or council? Seeing none, let's move on to ordinance 65-25. Madam City Clerk, please read title, set the public hearing date.
Ordinance 65-25, an ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of Cape Coral, Florida, amending the city of Cape Coral, Florida Code of Ordinances, Chapter 2, Administration, Article 6, Pensions, Division 3, General Employees Pension, Section 2-123.2, Membership, regarding the opt-out option for certain non-bargaining unit positions, providing for severability and an effective date. The public hearing will be on January 7, 2026.
Thank you. Any discussions by staff or council? Seeing none, we'll move on to item 10, citizens input. Citizens input is a maximum of 60 minutes to set on input of citizens on matters concerning city government, 3 minutes per individual. Please remember to state your name for the record. The city clerk will call up anyone who's filled out a comment card.
Kyle Lamadou and David Hussey. Hulsey.
You go first.
Good evening. I'm David Halsey. I'd like to point out one thing that happened this evening, and that is the citizens' input being at the very end. When you guys discussed Jaycee Park, we did not have an opportunity to address you before the meeting, and this goes back to moving the citizens' input back to the very beginning so that we do have an opportunity to voice our opinion. Number two, I'd like to discuss the problem of, we've had now 2 different companies welch on deals. One was the Y and the other one was Jaycee Park. Do we get a bid bond or some sort of a written contract or some penalty to these companies that we've already done the design and we can still cash the check? I would assume that when we do an RFP, we do get a bid bond and we can cash the check. But in those 2 instances, we'd done the design, we did all the work, and then, as was stated, they welched on the deal or they reneged. I don't think it's fair to us, to all of us. We should have some recourse to go back to these companies. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Kyle Amadou, District 7. Zach. I'm just curious if you ever got the response to that 15% email. So if you can let us know, I'd like to know about that. Also, just to quickly bring up the flag, I stated that I donated last time, and I just think it would be nice for the public to hear what you have all donated. So everybody sitting up there, I think it would be nice for the public to hear how much money you've given. So that would be nice to hear. On the UEP costs for the lots, 2700 Northeast 24th Avenue, which is a big parcel that the city owns, which is in our district. We drive by it every day and it's used as a dumping ground. I've brought this up multiple times. It is still a dumping ground. Nobody does anything. Carmen's cleanup crew comes in. So there are lots off of it that are adjacent and they are, what's the term? You can't get it by road. They're whatever, the access undetermined. I'm curious, are those lots paying into the UEP? Because many of them are city-owned properties, but many of them are not. So that's just a question I have. I'd like to do a public records request for the copies of the contract with the reservoir contractor, and I'd like to see the business qualification questionnaire. I would also like copies of the engineering firm reports that were spoken of by the procurement manager, specifically regarding the lawsuit research, because when I searched that company, they had multiple lawsuits, and I'm just curious about what was going on with that. So, and then where did my last point go? I don't know if any of you have ever heard of Take This Job and Shove It, that song. I'm assuming a lot of you have heard that song. It's a pretty famous song. I think maybe you should do that with your point of order. God forbid the citizens have something clarified to them. Maybe you should just let us know how much to write a check for next time. Thank you.
David Kalish and Shelley Walton.
Okay, I'm Dave Kalish, as I'm sure you all know. I've been doing this for a long time, too long. I don't really enjoy coming here, I'm not gonna lie to you, because it's very frustrating, because nothing changes. I don't agree with the whole setup to where we will comment and come here and voice our concerns and our issues, and then you guys get to all rebut what we have to say, and that's the end of the conversation. That's not fair. There's got to be some kind of problem with your rights, as far as I'm concerned. The only thing I have is I saw something in the breeze that for the golf course, I happened to be at the meeting, and they said, Lastra, I don't want to say her name wrong, said that 220 people, only 800 answered anything that was sent out as far as that the golf course is concerned. There are a lot of people in the city, despite what other people say, that everybody's very happy with everything that's going on. Because the only people that could be really happy to what's going on in this city are the people that aren't paying attention. Okay, because if you're paying attention, there's no way in heck you could be happy. Okay, so with everything that's gone on with Jaycee Park has become a problem. With the yacht club, with everything that we get involved in, there's always a way that, and it's always said that this is all for the people in the community. That's a bunch of crap. Okay, I don't believe it. I worked as a police officer for 32 years, and I've never, ever seen business done the way that it is done here. It fascinates me. It's very frustrating. I think more and more people should be made aware of what goes on here. Maybe more people would come here and pitch a bitch. It wouldn't be a bad idea, okay? Because I think you guys have it a little bit too easy. You get to do whatever you want, make all your own decisions, and think everything that you do is right, okay? And as far as I'm concerned, it's not even close, and it's sad. It's really sad. You make me not want to live in the Cape, and I loved to retire and bring my family here, and you guys took that away.
Julia Atari and Teresa Kitts.
Hello, Julia Tari. Take out the trash, Cape Coral. I was listening to Jaycee Park. That's not what I really came here to talk about. However, I followed this. I fought the reef contract. They owed us $1.4 million. Did we sue them, Mr. Attorney? In the contract, we had the right to recoup the money if they defaulted on that. Rather than you go after the citizens, how about you go after the person who was supposed to pay the $1.4 million? You did not verify the funds before you took that P3. It was a debacle. You never should have did a P3 with a company without having verification that they could afford to put that in. I realize that some of you council members weren't there, but you know that we read that contract. You know I read that contract. And we waited months. We let them hang for months. Next month they're gonna pay, next month they're gonna pay, next month. What a waste of time. And then a roof. I just called the roofer, $110,000 for a metal roof on 1,100 square foot building. This is what we have going in. How the hell you get to these prices is beyond me. We have 3 city managers making over $200,000 a year, and nobody could look at a price and say, let me rethink this. Let me make my value worthy of the people and say, I can get a better price on this. It's ridiculous. It's insane. You paid, last time you were paying $300,000 for a generator. I made one fall, it was a $75,000 generator. It's ridiculous what you guys are overspending. You have to stop. Do your jobs. You're making a lot of money, do your damn jobs. Start looking at who the hell is bidding this shit. It's frustrating the hell out of me. We started Take Out the Trash. We have 15,000 followers. So don't sit up here and say, oh, our emails are more than yours. No, they're not. People are aggravated, people are tired, and they're sick to death of being taxed out of the city, priced out of the city, water, everything's too much money. Now you're gonna go away for a month hiatus. Why don't you walk around the stores, look for the holiday spirit, and see what these people are feeling? Because they're not feeling what you guys are thinking they're feeling. It's terrible. So Jaycee Park, you pulled that slab after you knew you didn't have the money to put the roof on. You poured the slab knowing you had no money to put on a roof. That's insanity. You should have stopped it when Amato didn't pay us and end our story with that building. You just dumped your mistake on the citizens, and that's ridiculous. Stop the project or take it out of your own pocket. Thank you. I'm done. I used my 3 minutes.
Well, I don't know if I can go over that, but
Sorry.
that was a lot. My name is Teresa Ketz. I live at 1953 Beach Parkway. I have sent each and every one of you an email, not once, 5 times. The only person that ever responded to me was Miss Lehman, Miss Kudak, and Miss Nelson. Not one of you responded. And Mr. Stinky, you are my representative from my area. And so I'm greatly disappointed that I didn't get a response. And the response I finally did get from Miss Connie Barron was, deal with it, it's construction. So let me start off by saying, when you guys started tearing the trees out of the park, and I'm not against the park, don't think I'm up here saying I'm against the park, because I'm excited that you're putting $22 million in front of my house. But when you started construction, they started doing the trees, I sent every one of you pictures of what I was dealing with. I had this much dirt in my house. My neighbor below me had to leave her condo because she couldn't breathe. There was neighbors across the street that couldn't breathe. I wrote an email to each of you to let you know what was happening. And like I said, Ms. Barron said, it's construction. You just need to learn to deal with it. Then in August, we had to have our property resodded because of a fungus that happened in the yard. Not saying it had anything to do with Jaycee Park. It cost our condo association $2,500 to have our property resodded. And that we did that on August the 5th. Then on August the 19th, LCEC came in with their trucks. They needed to redo the underground electric for the park. So they came onto our property and destroyed what we had just spent $2,500 resodding, and I was livid. I sent an email to each of you and Connie Barron. Basically, it was construction. You just need to deal with it. The park will open in April. In the meanwhile, I think I even included photos for each of you in my email of what we were dealing with. They were ruts that were up to here on my knees, standing in them. And that was the front of our yard that faces Jaycee Park. So I called Connie Barron. She wouldn't do anything. I emailed each of you. I finally got a hold of LCEC. LCEC did come out and make the repairs that I requested. It only took me a month to finally get someone to come out and change it. And the only reason that happened was because Gulf Coast or NBC News was standing in front of me and was doing a film on Jaycee Park. And they said, oh my God, what happened to your yard? And that's when I told LCEC, NBC is here. Am I done?
Yes. Thank you.
There's more.
Unfortunately, you get 3 minutes, ma'am. So,
One more.
all right. And next person, please.
Marie Kavanaugh.
Continue where I left off in the earlier meeting today. We need, as taxpayers, we need to know how this 1.2 and 1.4 million dollars got overlooked by staff. What you need to do is have an investigation into your procurement department and look at what happened to these things. Who is responsible? First, you need to know what happened and find out the cause, because I'm sure, again, I'm going to start looking. I'm sure there's a bunch of other ones out there where the RFP, whatever contract didn't have something it should have. And number two, how are you going to prevent this from happening in the future? That's called corrective action. But before you, and it's too, before you give anybody any additional funding, you need to have an investigation done and find out what the heck went on. And just a note about the UEP. I feel so bad for those people. I saw it. I was not physically here. I did see the meeting online. And the city manager went up there. The question was posed, what happens if there's money left over after the project is, the project is done? And he said, well, those that pay up front the whole amount, we're going to get the whole, so say it's $1,000. They're going to get their $1,000 right away. People who go on the payment plan aren't going to see that money till the end, till they're done 30 years later. So if you take $1,000 over 30 years, you're looking at $3,000. So, okay, big whoop at the end, you're going to give them $1,000 back, but with interest, they've already paid $2,000 more. That money, if there's money left over, that's like in a mortgage, if you make a balloon payment, that should come directly off the principal. The people are paying enough, they don't need to be paying you an additional $2,000 or whatever it turns out to be. And Bimini East, my sources have told me that you have purchased one of the 4 remaining properties. And I would like to know which one it was and what the sales contract on it was and the associated appraisal. And that is a records request. Thank you.
That is all, Your Honor.
Okay, I will open up for any council discussion with citizens input. Councilmember Donnell.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I'll address the first speaker. Would you put out there, Mr. City Manager, exactly what happens? But that's a great question. If we have we're in a contract or looking at, I'm thinking about the person and they step away. Specifically, we're talking about Jaycee Park. What do we do? What's our procedure when they just step back and now the bill falls on the city?
Well, in this case, the city council gave the city attorney and I clear direction.
Understood.
We didn't have the money by this date. Our direction was to terminate the contract. So that's what happened. We contacted them and said, are you planning on coming up with your funds? And they had offered a counter solution, which was presented.
True.
And denied. And they were issued a termination notice.
Understood. Specifically, let's be very specific, words matter. The issue becomes, if I heard the speaker correctly, said that, well, if there's some money that has been put into a project, forget Jaycee Park for now, just generally speaking, we have a project, and they step away and not fulfill the project, by following what he was saying, and they did not fulfill their end, now it's just stuck there, and the city has to go in and finish it for whatever reason, and there's some dollars attached, then who is responsible? Or is that situation?
That's a different, that would be, so there is a misunderstanding in the community about Fortress.
Okay.
Who submitted the unsolicited proposal, and the reef.
Gotcha.
So my staff see all the time that people think that the reef is the Fortress. The Fortress is a national firm that does business all over the country. We look, you can look at their financials, they're multi-billion-dollar corporation, no issues there. What happened here is the proposal carried a new venture, the Reef LLC, was it? And it was two individuals who are restaurateurs that were coming together for a joint venture.
Right.
Individually, they have funds. You all know the issue of what happened with one of those individuals.
Right.
There were reasons why the finances for this deal didn't come forward.
Right.
And thankfully, hopefully that has resolved itself for that individual.
Right.
But as a result of that, we were moving forward with the project, having it constructed. So we were talking with them multiple times, didn't terminate the contract because there was some issues of, if you remember in the beginning, we had some council members who kept trying to push, let's end it, let's not do this.
Right.
And so that gave them, there were multiple legal issues involved. And so it came to a point where we put that to bed, 7-1 motion, resolution, reaffirmed it, and then they didn't bring the money forward, so we terminated the contract. That's the concessionaire.
Right. Understood.
Construction contractors have a performance bond, and I think that is what is being referenced. So if for some reason the contractor fails and goes out of business, we have a financial document that we can then go to complete the performance of what they were getting paid to do.
Understood. Thank you. I just wanted that to be put on the record. That's all, Mayor. Thank you.
Councilmember Steinke.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I did have a question in relation to a performance bond, and that is that when we were involved in a situation like this and there was a concessionaire involved, is there the ability to get a performance bond from a concessionaire if there are financial contributions that are expected from them in their contract, that they would have to provide that performance bond at the signing of the contract, even if the monies were not going to be produced until further down the road, as was the case in this case? Can we require a performance bond from them for their financial contribution?
Unlikely. The performance bond that is being referenced, it's for the completion of a certain project. What we're talking about is a financial component. So the initial financial component of 1.37 million, I think what it was for their contribution. But if we're intermingling different contractual concepts for the benefit of some people to try to justify their position, even though it has no legal basis in fact or law. And so the distinction here is we have two contractual provisions. The first, as the city manager mentioned, has to do with the construction of the project. The second was the concessionaire agreement that has to do with the actual operation of the concession area. And as part of the operation of that concession area, the unsolicited proposal called for their contribution of $1.37 million as part of that. There was no mechanism under law to attach a performance bond for payment.
Okay, all right, thank you. And as it relates to the metal roof and the cost of a metal roof, let's not confuse the size of the building with the size of the roof. The roof likely is at least twice that size because it covers the entire deck. It's actually a roof over a building that has a roof on it. So the metal roof actually covers the entire, if you will, slab, dining area, all the things outside of the building as well as the building itself. So the cost of an $1,100 metal roof or 1,100 square foot metal roof is it's apples and oranges. So it's a much bigger roof.
Self-supporting too.
Oh, that's your
All right.
right.
Anything else, Councilmember?
That's it, thank you.
No?
The only thing I'll say real quickly, and the city attorney, basically said it. I think it's important to realize that we were not into a contractual agreement when we talk about the reef. We were in discussions, and you were negotiating a concessionaire agreement, my understanding. No one signed at the dotted line, or is that inaccurate?
That's inaccurate.
I'm sorry, say that. I apologize, Mayor.
Did they enter into a contractual agreement? I know one of the elements that they had to provide the 1.3, but is that the mechanism that triggers that contract to be a legal contract?
So there is if you recall, we had to go to a public hearing because the law was changed regarding the public-private statute. And so that required 2 public hearings. As part of that public hearing process, there was the approval of not only the comprehensive agreement, but the concessionaire agreement. So to answer your question, you're saying is the 1.37 million the consideration for it?
Yes.
Arguably it could be, but that's one of the legal issues that we were posed with. If you recall, when that happened and then when the new council got elected, we were then dealing with additional legal issues associated with that. So that kind of spilled into other legal challenges that complicated the matter a little bit further. And then, I don't want to resurrect the whole thing, but there is a consideration component for contractual agreements, which is not the same as a surety.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to reports. Councilmember Lehman, report.
Excuse me while
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was on 12/4, I was at the old golf course meeting. It wasn't, I had heard that the previous meetings were absolutely packed. This one was not, but
Please keep your comments to yourself till you get outside. You're being
people,
disruptive. Please. Yeah, but we
People
can't hear
still-
if you're back here screaming.
I'm sorry.
We did have a contract, you should have read it.
Keep going, please. Keep going.
People,
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry about that,
it's okay.
being rude. They want us to listen to
Get
them
used to it after
and
a
not speak,
while.
but they don't want to do the
At
same.
any rate, I did put out my idea, and I know Mr. Petrella kind of laughed at me about the idea of moving the pool and the clubhouse over to the old golf course as opposed to having it at the yacht club. Don't know what's going to happen with that. On the 5th, I attended the CCCIA Christmas party. It was very well attended. It was a lot of fun. On the 6th, I had my town hall at Rotary Park. My next town hall is February 7th. Location yet to be determined. On the 6th, I also attended the Festival of Lights, the tree lighting put on by the Chamber down at Big John's Plaza. And it was very well attended by city by the citizens. And it was nice to see that people are actually coming to things to realize all the things that the city does for the citizens. On the 9th, actually yesterday, I was at the board meeting for New Beginnings, which is a nonprofit for single mothers and mothers with young children that have been in a bad situation. And they are having a fundraiser on February 6th. And I'm going to be working with them on that. On the 12th, I am speaking at Cape Coral Talk Radio at Hooked Island at 5 o'clock. On the 13th, there is the Foster Breakfast with Santa, Foster Kids Breakfast with Santa, as there was last year, put on by the fire department. I'm volunteering for that. On that same day, there is the reindeer run at Coral Oaks. I'm also volunteering for that. And people have to remember that on the 20th, there is the boat along at Four Freedoms Park from 4 to 9. And hopefully it will be well attended. It's always been an event that's a lot of fun. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilmember Long?
No report.
Councilmember Steinke?
Thank you, Mayor. After our meeting last week, I left for Orlando to attend the Florida League of Cities Legislative Conference, where I serve on the Development, Code Compliance, and Redevelopment Committee. I was there the 4th and the 5th. On the 6th, I attended the grand opening of a new business in town right along Del Prado, a very unique business called Hair Salon. It's a combination of hair salon and art gallery. Pretty interesting concept. If you want to stop by a unique business, that's one to stop by. And then attended the Cape Coral Chamber of Commerce Holiday Festival of Lights, which I can echo what Councilmember Lehman said. Great event. Of course, it's happened year after year after year. All the volunteers that make that happen really pour themselves into it, and it's a great event here in the city. Spoke on behalf of the mayor, as well as all the city council and all the city staff to our citizens, and it was a great kickoff, there on Cape Coral Parkway. And that's it for me.
Councilmember Donnell?
Thank you, Mayor. Well, firstly, I want to apologize to council and to all the residents. We did not have the carolers here at 3:30. Everything was going fine, and I have to bear that burden. Last year, the meeting started at 4:30. I forgot. So it was a timing issue having to get the children here. So I apologize for that, but we're geared to make sure we get it in play for next year. And with that being said, I just wanted to wish council, staff, and all the residents have a happy Christmas, Merry Christmas, happy holidays, however you celebrate it. And I left you with a challenge, and that is to make sure. And I know it's difficult because I'm holding my own self accountable. But as we entertain people throughout this season, make sure the first thing, let's recognize something positive about it. When you're emailing, when you're on social media, say something positive. And it's not a can't issue. If you're intentional, it can happen. And that we can just all bond together, because we have a great community. And the last thing, though, I would say, though, that I did not really understand what Blue Christmas meant until this year. My mom passed. So Christmas for me and this holiday season is really joyful for people like me that love it and others, but recognize that some people have gone through some trauma, some hurtful things, and they're dealing with issues. So just let us be sympathetic and empathetic and keep them in my prayers. So again, Merry Christmas to everybody, and I'll see you in 2026.
Thank you, Councilmember Kadu.
No report.
Councilmember Kilrain?
Yeah, on November 4th and 5th, I also attended the FLC at Orlando, and I was appointed to the taxation and finance group there. On the 5th, the CCCIA award ceremony and new board swearing in. And just reflect similar to what Councilman Lehman said. That was extremely well attended, well done. And I hope that we can have a good relationship with the new board as we did in the past. November 6th, also attended tree lighting. November 8th, went to the manatee dedication at Serena Vista. November 9th, Oasis Charter Board last night. And they adopted the charter as we had approved. And the other significant thing is they went ahead and pursued the electronic detectors, metal detectors into the building. So now we're going to clear up the loop where all the schools in the area will have those. And I have my next town hall is coming up on January 8th at Gun Hill at Sandoval. It's open to the public, and the news really should be going out on any day now. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Laster, report.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to say thank you to all the residents who did attend the December 4th meeting for the old golf course. It was not packed at all like the first one was. But I think for our next one, we'll definitely request to keep it in City Hall, in our council chambers, because it's a much bigger space. I also just wanted to do one more plug for the Youth Council. We still are about 6,000 away from our goal. I would encourage any of you to share and repost our GoFundMe page just to see if we can do one final push before we take money out of their very limited budget. Merry Christmas to everyone and Happy New Year. And I will be doing a town hall probably at the end of January, and I'm going to try to see if I can do it at Banyan Trace so that we can talk with all the residents again about the old golf course. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Real quickly, for me, I just want to thank all of staff for their hard work, dedication over the year, and wish them a happy holiday, and hope they enjoy spending time with family and friends over the holiday season. Also, to my colleagues here on the dais, just want to thank you for your dedication and commitment to our community, and wish each one of you and your families a Merry Christmas as well. And I want to wish, Merry Christmas and a happy holiday to our community. And remember that this time of year, it's for family and friends and community. So let's come together collectively and make a positive impact in our community. We hear a lot of negativity throughout the year, but I think this time of year, we have to reflect and try to make a positive impact on our community. Mr. City Attorney, report.
Nothing, thank you.
Mr. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Need a few moments of the council's time in the communities. I'm going to start off with this. This is several weeks of work by my finance staff, my development services staff, the city auditor, and legal. This is our response to every assertion that the organization representing builders lobbed against us. I have a prepared statement. Mayor, members of council, and members of the public, over the past several weeks, we have been working on an exhaustive internal review because of the letter sent from an association in our community representing contractors, which contained a series of allegations regarding operations, finances, and regulatory practices in our building division and building fund. As of this evening, city staff have concluded a thorough review of every claim in that letter, and the documentation we have compiled demonstrates the assertions made are either baseless or unsupported, and often were a result of a fundamental misunderstanding of our internal processes, state law, and standard municipal accounting practices. It is deeply disappointing that an organization representing licensed professionals in our community would issue a letter of this magnitude without first verifying the facts, seeking clarification, or engaging in even the most basic due diligence. Instead, what has been presented is an assortment of uninformed interpretations, misapplied statutory citations, and inaccurate assumptions, supported by backup material that frankly is embarrassing in its incompleteness or lack of connection to the assertions targeted at this organization. I'm going to read a few of those documents presented to the state representative from our district. And these are the documents used to support the audit requested at the audit committee. These documents came directly from the organization that wrote a letter. This is an AI summary that they submitted. It says there are 258 pages in total. Of those 258 pages, there were 176 individual emails and 4 emails specifically address permitting and inspection issues. This is their document. 4 emails out of 176 and 258 pages. Let me give you an example of the emails that were sent to our state legislature that our state representative used to ask for an audit. This is from Bonnie Apello. Hi, here's a peek at the PDF of the September 2025 issue, now gone to print. It should be hitting the streets next week. It's the Cape Coral Sun, September 2025. That's backup against us. From Jason Kurtz to Lynn Boldessar, top talent ready to drive your projects forward. Lynn, I'm pleased to present 2 highly skilled construction professionals whose expertise aligns well with your operational needs and project goals. Candidate 1, candidate 2. From Business Tax Receipts, Cape Coral, to Lynn. Cape Coral Construction Industry, please see the attached local business tax receipt. It's us sending them their BTR. Incredible Bank. Here's an introductory credit card, 0% interest. Real important. Here's one from Shanna Overholser to Lynn and Keith Quackenbush. Lynn, you didn't pay me for all the trade show booths. You left out leaf filter, bath fitter, and freedom. Please send an additional check. No reply member zone to Lynn. Registration information. Here is a confirmation of somebody signing up for a session that my staff held called Top Permit Review Rejections Webinar. This is us saying we're going to host a training session. This is backup. And then lastly, one of the 4 emails related to permitting issues started in May with Matt Grambo. I have a member that has an issue with an HVAC permit, which is holding up a CO. The permit was rejected due to the PUE ordinance. However, the plans were approved based on the prior requirements. Can you look into this? Any ideas what the address is on this property? How about 14 Burnstone Road? Matt, back to Lynn. This project failed final survey review due to the equipment pad encroaching into the PUE, which was not indicated on any permit documentation until 3 weeks ago. The site plan that was originally approved did not indicate the location of the equipment pad. And this went all the way on up until he came to this body and asked for relief. And eventually the mayor met with him out there and there was no relief given. This is the complaint. These are the complaints. And these are the backup documents supplied to our state representative who asked for an audit on us because of this. I would be embarrassed if my staff transmitted something to me that had, you didn't pay one of our employees. A credit card offer, spam. The city of Cape Coral maintains rigorous financial controls, adheres to state law, and operates under transparent and auditable processes. When concerns are raised in good faith, we address them in good faith. But when claims are made publicly that could undermine resident confidence, disrupt development activity, and unfairly impugn the integrity of my and our employees, it is important that we respond swiftly with the facts. So this Friday, I will be providing a detailed written response that includes the documentation staff has assembled. It will demonstrate the city's commitment to compliance with Florida statutes, clarify the purpose and legality of interdepartmental transfers, correct inaccurate financial interpretations, and address each point raised in the letter. I'm going to walk you through it real quickly. So their letter had 26 allegations or assertions. And what we've done is we have identified them by number, took the statement from their letter, and then identified which department was responsible for that. And in each one of these, there is a cover page that has their assertion, our detailed response, and then a list of all of the attachments governing that response. This is what a professional organization looks like, and this is what outstanding staff work looks like in person. Our commitment remains the same, providing services to our businesses and residents that are transparent, accountable, and compliant with state law. I hope moving forward, all stakeholders will choose collaboration over confrontation and accuracy over assumption. The community deserves nothing less. Thank you. We'll be putting this out Friday morning. I have to do a little bit of work with my staff, but essentially it's complete.
I might suggest you begin with an invoice in there to the state legislator for the time you had to spend putting that together. Thank you.
Councilmember Kadook.
Thank you. Mr. City Manager, did you say you were going to put that on open government?
Yes, so what we did with everything preceding all their letters and all the backup they had, I listen, I encourage everybody to go look at this backup.
As soon as it's up, right?
No, their backup. These emails that, of you didn't pay me for booths and, here's some job, they're all out there.
Okay.
These aren't mine, these are theirs.
And it's on our open government tab?
That's all up there on OpenGov under JLAC audit.
Got it.
Now, our response, we will have all of this out there.
Awesome. Thank you.
Councilmember
Yeah, I
Killen.
just want to mention, I did go through that stuff and I saw that. So I verified right here. I saw it myself. But Mayor, just to get back at you, Merry Christmas to you and to all my colleagues up here, to staff and everyone else. And thank you. It's been a great year and I appreciate all that you guys have been contributing and the support you've given me and the help you've given me. So thank you very much and look forward to a better year next year.
Okay, thank you. Is that all you have, Mr. City Manager?
Actually, no, I had one more thing related to this topic that I wanted to make you all aware of. So we have a BIOC committee, which is a Building Industry Oversight Committee. A lot of these misunderstandings and mischaracterizations came from information they were going over every other month with my staff. I want to let you all know that I have directed my staff to make changes to how that committee operates. We are still going to have it. We're still going to honor the MOU, but I am sending a recording secretary into those meetings, and we are going to go through the order of the MOU, the 3 items that are in there, and only the people that are on the buyout committee, no more than 5, will be allowed in attendance in that meeting. If they're not getting into the non-public forum, and we will have from here forward minutes of all these meetings and everything that comes up. There will be no more opportunity for misunderstanding or clarification of things with word that we're going to do in writing. Thank you.
Okay, time and place of future meeting. We have a regular meeting, Cape Coral City Council is scheduled for Wednesday, January 7th, 2026, beginning at 4 p.m. here in council chambers. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Meeting adjourned.